You're watching Two Button Groove.
Your daily Nintendo fandom.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Simeon.
We're coming at you on a Monday morning, and we're not playing Chariot. This has been a while.
No, we're not. Yes.
If you'd like to catch up on Chariot, though, last weekend we streamed a lot of Chariot.
A lot.
Like 3 hours. And you can go watch it in all 240 pixels of glory. But we're not here to talk about Chariot today.
No,
we've
indeed.
been doing that long enough. There is some huge news that we need to discuss, and that is
New console.
New console. The NX has been the NES Classic Edition.
Yes.
And I think this was huge. This is probably the happiest I've been hearing Nintendo news as a Nintendo fan in a while.
Yeah.
I got very excited about this, and I still am.
I was really excited because this is a fantastic idea. And it's also a fantastic deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's what, $60, right?
That's right.
And that's a great deal for 30 games.
I know.
It's $2 a game.
Without even factoring in any hardware pricing.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've always actually wanted them to do a rerun of NES production. I believe I've gone on record somewhere in TBC history.
That sounds familiar.
I think. But I've always said, like, come on, the NES would be so cheap to make these days as far as the technology needed.
Yeah.
And NESs are kind of going extinct. It would be great for Nintendo to rerun the NES and start selling it again cheap. So they did exactly that. The main difference being this is a plug-and-play console, and there's nothing expandable about it. No place for a cartridge.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only downside, but we've got a lot more positives to hit on.
Yes.
So I think this is an amazing throwback. And if you guys can find where I said that Nintendo should do this, link me to it. That'd be great.
Comment below.
So we've already said it's $60 for 30 games, and that's awesome. And I think it kind of makes the Virtual Console look like a ripoff, which it is.
It is.
Yet they're convincing me and a lot of people to buy these games once again.
Yeah.
So
I think the main attraction of the Virtual Console is that it doesn't deteriorate. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully it doesn't get corrupted or whatever, but it doesn't deteriorate physically.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the other copies don't, and you'll have it on your current console.
Right.
So it's all in one place, and it doesn't have any chance of, being, physically run down. But of course, new console comes out and it gets phased out again, and it's expensive.
The appeal of this console is it's going to get into the homes of people that don't own a Wii U or a 3DS.
Yes.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
Nintendo didn't have something big for this holiday. So I think they kind of were spitballing and made this up.
I think so.
But they came up with something good.
Like, what are we going to do for the holiday season? Let's re-release our old consoles.
Right. It's only $10 for controller number 2, which is really cool. I hope they have a good stock of those controllers, because I'm guessing like
they're going to sell out.
80% of these consoles will be purchased with another controller. That's my guess.
Yeah.
It's such an obvious add-on, You're going to want to play this with someone. You're going to want this out at the Thanksgiving party, at the Christmas party, Yeah. When I was a kid, I was always dragging my older siblings up to my room and showing them whatever new games I had.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this will go both ways. I think older siblings, like 30-somethings, will want to show kids these games which will be new to them.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
A library that's built in.
Yep.
I think
that's
good selections, but just slightly disappointing that we know it's only going to be those 30.
Yeah, and nothing more, because the way it's built, it doesn't have any way really of expanding on it, except it does have the USB port, which is used to charge it.
Yeah.
So it's possible that you could plug it into a computer and somehow manipulate. I'm stretching here, but there's a hope. But other than that, and that's got to be its power source. So other than that, there's no way of possibly expanding it.
I was shocked when I saw third-party games in
I
the
was
list.
too. I was very
I
shocked.
was like, how'd they get third parties on board?
I don't know.
And there's multiple. Square, Capcom,
Yep.
a couple others.
Konami.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised to see like Star Tropics, Super C. There were more. That I was like, those are interesting choices. It's not like their normal ones. Of course, they have their normal ones that they keep trying to push, like Mario Bros. Not Super Mario Bros.
Right.
Mario Bros. And Ice Climbers. It's like we don't want to play those games. We
No.
just don't.
No.
I'm sorry.
Although I think Mario Bros. Would be a bit more fun two-player.
Yeah, that's true.
More than trying to do it by yourself. Ice climbers can go die in an icy hole though. As far as like, I do wish that it played my old cartridges, because
Yeah.
it would be nice to say, to be able to know that those were gonna stick around longer. But it's a very smart business decision to keep this all in one box, because
Yep.
first of all, the NES itself can be a lot smaller. It's like the size of an NES cartridge.
Yeah.
So that shelf space is going to be smaller, and then not stocking stores with a bunch of NES games.
Yep.
It's going to reduce, and it's going to keep all that shelf space just for the NES Classic Edition. And I'm really interested to see if this thing is going to sell out and when it will be restocked. I'm wondering if Nintendo is going to be stocking this and the NX simultaneously come March, or if this thing's just going to be sold for like a quarter of a year, you know?
It's hard to know. I'm guessing that they're gonna sell it for quite a while.
Yeah.
That it's gonna be a thing for at least 6 months.
Okay.
At least. But you know, you never know. Maybe it is just a short, short run. But
This console comes out November 11th.
yes.
I'm really stoked for it. It's an ingenious holiday move. Nintendo now has buzz going into Christmas,
Yep.
which they did not have.
Man, they're just really playing on those nostalgia chords. They're playing their cards right with Pokemon Go. With this, they're trying to get all those people who are older gamers back into it, and they, I think, are succeeding.
I agree, and I think that they've done a really good job of fostering the NES itself as a brand over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Think about the Vans collection of clothes. It was completely 8-bit.
Yep.
Okay. They've been releasing. They did NES Remix 1 and 2, and then they just do a good job, through social media, keeping awareness of their 8-bit roots and stuff. So, like, the Nintendo Entertainment System in itself is its own brand, and seeing that retro style box just kind of markets itself, and I think it's going to be really popular from pretty much all age groups.
I think so.
It's going to be a home run.
I agree. So the controllers are, obviously they're NES controllers, but if you look at the controller port, it's different. And it's different because it's the controller port for the Classic Controller and Classic Controller Pro.
Basically the Wii Remote plug-in slot.
Yeah, so if you have one of those, then you can plug it in and play it.
Yeah, not to be confused with the Pro controller for Wii U,
Yeah.
which is wireless and won't be compatible.
Right.
But we each have Classic controllers, and that's nice. I just think that those cords are really short,
Yeah.
so I couldn't really see myself using that. Unless the TV's here and the console is like strung out into the living room here, and then
And then you're right there.
maybe. But I'd rather keep the NES on the entertainment place if I
Of
can.
course.
The NES controller, these new ones, cord lengths aren't that long either. It's like 5 feet. From what I saw of people playing with it at Comic-Con, they were holding like the end of the cord here, and then the controller like out at arm's length, so it's not quite 6 feet. So I'm just estimating off of that. I'm really curious. I'm interested to see what the operating system is like, and I thought it would be funny if they put like one of those really bad DS microphones on the front of the NES.
Oh yeah,
and
they
you
got
have
to.
to blow into it to get your game to start up.
Oh, see, that's what you were talking about. Okay, that's genius. Okay, I didn't think about that. What I thought you meant was like the Famicom had the microphone for games like Legend of Zelda and whatnot.
Right.
But okay, that is genius. I would like to see that just for fun, even though the veracity of that actually helping or not is questionable. I still think that's something that, you know, everybody growing up with an NES did.
Yeah.
So moving forward, the Super Nintendo Classic, you think it's going to happen?
I do. I don't know how far they'll go with this. I think it would stop before Wii, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
We could get a N64, potentially maybe a GameCube.
Now that's something that I might buy, is the N64 Classic.
That would be cool. And these things might have to be more expensive. I don't know if they're going to look at doing an SNES next year or 5 years from now. They might try to do, like, you know, 30 years spaced from the original release.
Yeah.
But regardless, if it was an NES, as excited as I am for this one, I think I would probably be about twice as excited for an SNES, because I've got a lot less of those virtual console games. I've never owned an SNES, and I think it would be perfect for me, although I love the NES, and I think this is going to be a home run.
So are you going to buy this when it comes out? Very cool. I'm not going to buy it. I have the games that I want on NES, so I'll be playing that. And there's only one Mega Man game, so
yeah.
At least it's Mega Man 2 and not the original.
Well, Sabian, I'm sure we'll play it together. We'll make some shows.
Oh yeah.
Watch for that in November. Until then, we'll see you every other weekday. Not every other alternating, but
all of the other
right
days. And don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and become part of the crew.
Yes, we'd love to welcome you. Thanks for being with us today, and we'll see you next time.
Signing out.